Welcome to the first video on my channel. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna do a new look today with some new products that I've been trying out, and I think you guys will like them. So let's get started. I already have on the Flower Primer, which is the Pore Minimizing Primer. I'm using this one today because I'm going to be using a foundation that is a little bit more dewy and I have oily skin. So this primer definitely works best underneath the foundation that I'm going to use today. So I found a new foundation that I really like. Burt's Bees has come out with a foundation line called Goodness Glows. The color that I am using is Soft Honey. It's number 1035. I found this the other day. I loved the colors and decided to give it a try. I have really olive skin, so I love foundations that have a really yellow olive undertone, and those are kind of hard to find. So I'm just gonna put this on. It has really nice coverage. It also works well without a primer. I've used it without the primer too. But if you're going to use it with a primer, do something that's a little bit more pore minimizing or mattifying. Because I did try it with a more of like a radiance boosting primer, and I didn't like it as much. Maybe if you're dry it would be okay, but for me it didn't really work out. So I'm using my Real Technique sponge. It's damp. I really like this a lot. It has the flat side, which really gets the foundation in your skin. I've always used beauty blenders, but I have to say I'm a big fan of the Real Techniques, and they're like less than half the price. It just has a really nice, soft, dewy look without making me look super shiny. And because I'm oily, I like that a lot. A lot of the more dewy foundations I can't use. I love this one. Okay, so we've got a nice even base going there. Now I'm going to go in with some concealer, and today I'm going to use a combination of two different ones. I'm going to use the Revlon Colorstay, and the color in this one is light medium. I'm going to go in with that first, right under my eye. This is nice. It's actually pretty creamy. Again, it has that nice kind of yellow undertone that I like. A little bit around your nose. Okay. And then I'm going to go right over the top of that with my LA Girl Pro Conceal, and this is in the color Porcelain. Now this is a lot lighter, so I like to use a combination of the two, so I get good coverage with the darker color for my dark circles, but then I get the brightening effect with this one because it's nice and light. Go down the nose. Okay. Again, going in with my Real Technique sponge. And like I said, I really like the flat side. And just dabbing that in. And then what I do when I'm going in the inner circle, I squeeze it really small so it fits nice and tight in there. Okay. And I'm going to go over a little bit with my eyelid. Okay. So, I would usually next go with my Jane Iredale powder. My favorite foundation powder, the Jane Iredale, but I've been trying to find one that's a little bit more inexpensive for everybody. So this is the Maybelline Fit Me. This is the Set and Smooth powder. They have a few different ones. This one's called Set and Smooth, and the color that I'm using is Nude Beige 125. I'm going to be using my Real Techniques brush. This is actually their brush blush, but I like this one for powder. It's really soft. So I'm just going to go in and set this just lightly. And I'm going to stay away from under my eyes. I know a lot of people like to use a setting powder under the eyes. I don't like the way that looks on me, so I just set around my nose on my cheeks, down the neck a little bit, and on my forehead. This brush is really nice and fluffy, so you just get a really light setting of powder. Now we're going to go in with some contour. What I'm using today is my Pro Fusion Contour Kit. This has the different shades, 3 different shades, light, medium, and dark, and has 2 highlighters. I'm going to go in with the dark around my hairline. I kind of like to go in a tapping motion with this contour palette because the powders aren't as pressed as I usually like them, but the colors are still really good. So just around the hairline with the dark, and then I'm going to go in with the medium and soften that. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with the medium on my cheekbone. More of a pressing motion than a sweeping. And I'm using the e.l.f. blush brush for this. So just with the medium and the cheekbone, the cheek hollow here, going up into your ear. And just getting some nice shape there. And if you want a really soft contour, or you haven't really gotten into contour yet, you can go in with the medium and the light color just to get you started. So now under my neck, I'm combining the dark and the medium. And then gonna use just the medium to pull down on my neck. Then I like to go in with my powder brush and just blend under your neck. Today I'm using the Wet n Wild highlighting powder. This is a new one that I found recently. I actually really like it. The color is Blossom Glow. And the brush that I'm going to be using is the small tapered brush by e.l.f. today. I like the control that I have with this one on the highlighter, and I like it's just small enough to hit the areas that I like. So I'm going to start with my highlight right on my cheekbone here, and I go up the side a bit. Right around the edge of your eyebrow. This one just has a really nice iridescent glow. And again, right on the top of your cheekbone. You can see it nice there with the light. And just bring it up around your eyebrow. I would also like to hit the tip of my nose, my chin, the middle of the forehead, in a small V, up the center, and up the sides, and then my favorite place, in Cupid's bow. This is going to give you an instant plumper lip. I believe this was $5 at Target. It's really great. It has some really nice shimmery colors, some lighter colors. Today I'm going to go in with the Lush. And I'm going to be using my Sephora brush, my blush brush. It is number 73 from Sephora. So we're going to go in with that color Lush. And just right on the apples. This is a nice soft neutral, but with that nice iridescent highlight, it's going to give it a really pretty tone on the cheek. So right in the apple, and I like to pull up. A little here, tiny bit here. Okay, And then what I like to do after I put my blush on, I'll take my Real Techniques that's damp already and just softly tap on your cheeks to set that blush in. Okay. Now we're going to move on to eyes, and what I'm going to use today, first I'm going to use my e.l.f. Smudge Pot in Cruisin' Chic is the color, as a primer. I'm just going to take a little bit, dab it mainly in the center and the bottom. And just blending up. Just so I get a really, I'm going for more of an intense eye today, so I want the shadows to really pick up. So by using this as a primer, it's just going to ensure that I don't lose the color as I'm putting it on, and it looks a little bit more intense. Now I'm going to go in with, I don't know the number, but it's a MAC crease brush, fluffy crease brush, and just soften that in the crease, blending that primer out a little bit. Just so it's nice soft lines. So the majority of your product is going to be here on your eyelid. Okay. Today for my eyeshadow, I'm going to be going with my BH Cosmetics palette. I find this at Charming Charlie, but they are now selling it at Target as well. This palette's great. It has so many different shades in it. So the color I'm going to go with today first, so I'm going to go in with this color here for my crease. It's a slightly mauve-y brown tone with a tiny bit of shimmer. So I'm going to take my crease brush and go in with that color all in my crease to get some real depth in here. And I'm really trying to also concentrate on getting some of that darker color on the inner corner here, because I'm going to do a pop of a lighter color on my eyelid. So instead of having a lighter to darker look, I just want it to look lighter in the middle. So I want to make sure I have some of this darker tone on the inside here. And just blending on the top up to the brow bone once your brush doesn't have as much product on it. It's a nice, small, tight contour brush, okay? And this is great to control your shadow a little bit more. So next I'm gonna go in with this darker color. It's a little bit more purple and a little bit deeper. This is the one I used for my crease. This is the one I'm gonna use now. And go under my eye, all the way under my eye with those. And all the way to the inside of my eye. And then just going in an upward motion on the outside here. And then just sweeping up. Okay, I'm going to take that same brush now and go a little bit deeper on the inside of my eye. This time I'm going to use this mauve maroon tone. Again, a little bit of shimmer here. I'm going to take that same brush and just go in mainly the outer corner with a small V. It doesn't have to look perfect. We're going to go in with that other brush again and blend it out. You just want to make sure that you get a good amount of that color here. And then I'm going to take the same color. I'm going to put a little bit on the inside. Just small dabbing motion, a tiny bit in the inner crease, mainly on the inner corner. And then just sweeping it up. Okay. Go back with that blending brush and soften this line. You don't want to blend right where you've just placed the eyeshadow. You want to blend above, so you're not just taking all the shadow off that you just put on. Mainly in the outer corner, you want to do a small V. Really dabbing when you want more color, and then slowly sweeping with the brush barely touching so you don't move all the product around. Very, very lightly sweeping. Back, and we're going to do the inner corner again, dabbing and a little in the crease. And taking that brush again and blending. Now we're going to use liner. I'm going to go in with this e.l.f. It is the brown. One side is shimmer and one side is matte. I'm going to use the shimmer today. And I'm going to go along the bottom, mainly focusing in the outer corner, but pulling very lightly out. Same thing on the top, mainly focusing in this outer corner and even pulling it up on your lid a little bit here. And then as you go across, just focusing on the lash line. As close to the lash line as you can get. Okay, and then you're going to take your finger and soften that liner that you just put right here on the outside. Just dabbing to blend it. Okay. Mainly in the outer corner, lightly pulling it in. Take that same brush that we used underneath to pull the shadow across, and I'm going to blend that eyeliner just softly with this brush and go all the way across. An Essence palette called All About Bronze. Brush that came with my Profusions palette. I really like the flat end. It has two sides. The flat end is really nice for getting a good amount of eyeshadow in one spot. So I'm going to take this nice gold tone that we have in the Essence palette, and I'm going to tap this brush and get a good amount of it there. I'm going to hold the brush upside down and tap right in the center of my eye. This is going to allow me to have a really nice smoky look, but keeping my eye looking open and bright. And just using a tapping motion with that. With this lighter tone here, it's more of a peachy shimmer, the same flat brush from the Profusion palette, and I'm just going to tap it on the very inner corner of my eye. Just giving a nice little pop. You can use your blender, that flat side. Okay, great. Now we're going to go in with my mascara. What I'm going to use today is the Peacock Flare. I've talked about this before, before I was using the waterproof, which it worked great, but you literally could not get it off your eyelashes. So I went back and I have the regular non-waterproof. We're going to use that today. It really separates your lashes really well, combs them through, keeps them curled really well. And pull up. This way it almost gives you the effect of an eyeliner underneath. The brush is great. It combs your lashes so well. And you have a lot of control with it. So I'm going to go in with just a tiny bit more of my Porcelain LA Girl Concealer. Just to get nice and bright here. Just try to keep it controlled. Squish that sponge and really tap it in here. Since we have a really fun eye, I'm just going to go in with kind of a neutral lip. And what I'm going to use is my Maybelline Color Sensational. This is in the color Nude Whisper. Get it to focus. Okay, so this is just a really soft, neutral tone. But this lip liner stays on so well. You can do it all over your lip and kind of use it as a stain. Like You a Latte Gloss by Charming Charlie. This is my favorite nude color right now. It's just got a great tone to it. Not orange, not pink. Super soft, neutral color. So that's the look for today. Smoky, glowy. This foundation, I'm telling you, the Burt's Bees is so nice and soft. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you like this.
You know you like it, but it drives you insane. You know you like it, but it drives you insane. You know you like it, but you're scared of the shame. What you want